All right, so today we are going to be speaking about more about solids. And in particular, we're going to be speaking about 3D solids. So 3D are solids that are things that you can pick up and touch. So you would say that on a 2D shape, this is probably more like a rectangle, right? But you know it's actually not a rectangle because it's 3D. We can pick it up. I can't pick up a rectangle. Rectangle is like the picture over here. I can't pick that up. So this is actually more like a cylinder, and that's one of those on there. Okay. So there are 3 papers, and I'm going to show you how to put them together. They did give us some ideas on this page, so I put it on there just in case. But I think we'll be able to do this together. And this is actually the first time that Mrs. Smith has done this, especially on video. So we're learning together, all right? So first step, you need this paper. So it's the one where it has blank rectangles and the names of each 3D shape that we will be doing. And you need a crayon to draw a force field. We're going to draw a force field all the way around. Okay. And if the force field is all the way around, that means that Mrs. Smith would like you to cut all the way around. I'm going to pause my video so that I can cut, and when I come back in, it'll be perfect and set and cut, and for you, it should be the same. Pause your video now. All right. So here I have my paper cut out. I also have my journal for science. It's out here, and I have my next available page. This is going to just fit like this, so I'm just going to leave it turned this direction. And the first step of what I'm going to do is fold this paper in half on that solid line. Okay, so carefully folded it. So you can see that it's folded, and now I'm going to turn it over, so I'm looking at the back. Okay. And I'm actually going to put glue all over the back here. Okay. So now this is, oh, I didn't want to put it there. See, we're learning together, guys. I want to put it here. Okay, so now this is on my book, and I'm able to fold it over so that I can use the inside. Might have to add some more glue. In first grade, if something doesn't stick, we add more glue. All right. So here are the 6 shapes that we will be discussing. Rectangular prism, sphere, cone, ice cream cone, cylinder, cube, and pyramid. Right? Okay. So the next step is I'd like us to take this paper. I'd like you to make another force field all the way around and then cut it out. So I'm going to do that and cut mine out. So make a force field all the way around. And then carefully cut it out. Okay? All right, I'm going to pause my video so I can cut. You should do the same. Okay, so now I have this cut, and it's all ready. Now I'd like you to make force fields along all of these horizontal lines. And then, yes, you guessed it, we're going to cut them out. So pause and cut. See you in a second. So for our next trick, what we're going to do is we're going to take each of these cutout shapes, and it's asking us about vertices, edges, and faces, and we'll talk about those. And I'd like you to match the shape to its correct term. So for instance, the first section is the rectangular prism. So you have to find the one that is a rectangular prism, and you're going to glue it to the top. So here's the rectangular prism. You can see rectangular prism and the picture of the rectangular prism. So now I'd like you to do each one and find the correct picture and glue it down. Sphere, cone, cylinder, cube, pyramid. All right, so I'm going to pause mine so that I can glue mine, and then you can check your answers with mine after you pause yours and fill them in. Okay, so now we're ready, and you can check yours with mine. We're going to start with the rectangular prism. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret, so come a little closer to the screen. Okay, secret time, ready? Don't tell anyone else. Just everyone else that watches the video. But the secret is Mrs. Smith is not super good at 3D shapes. She doesn't see things in 3D. She sees things very flat. So when I try to draw things, I have a really difficult time drawing things as if they are full, like us, and not flat. So I'm going to try to explain and show these examples, but in truth, Mrs. Smith is really maybe making some mistakes. So you just have to bear with me, okay? All right. So the first thing we're going to be discussing is this first term of vertices. So this is weird. This is a weird word. Vertices is where two sides come together, two edges come together at this section. So I'd like you to go and circle all of the vertices just like I did. Okay, so one of these is called a vertex, but many of them is called vertices. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vertices. An edge is actually what we would call a side. So each one of these lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I almost made a mistake. Did you see it? There are 12 edges. And now the faces are these, the big open spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm missing one. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing one. Where's the other face? Wish you guys could tell me. I've lost it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it's right here. There's 2 here. Haha. There's this one in the back and there's this one in the front. So a total of 6. Ha! You saw Mrs. Smith. She had to think too. Okay. So that one I would say is one of the most difficult ones. So here are the things that we learned. A vertices is that section right in the middle where 2 things come together, the 2 edges come together. An edge is that hard line or where the fold would be in a paper, that's the edge. And then the face is the flat side of an object. This is a sphere. Spheres are really interesting. They have 0 vertices. They have no angles. They have 0 edges. There are no lines, straight lines like that. And it has 1 face. We call this face, and you can write it down if you want, you don't have to. It's called a curved surface because it's not the same kind of face as this square or rectangular object. A curved surface means that it is curved, but it's still called a face, just to make it easy on us. Okay, a cone, very simple. It has no vertices. It has no edges and 1 face. And you guessed it, it is also a curved surface. Okay, here we have our cylinder. A cylinder has no vertices. You'll notice it has none of those straight lines. It has no edges, no straight lines, but it does have 2 faces. 1, 2. Oh, here's the face for the cone. Okay. Now, let's do the cube. Let's do the vertices first. So I'd like you to pause me now and find your vertices. Circle them, just like we did with the rectangular prism. Okay, now I'm going to show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did you find 8? Now, please mark the edges with an X. An edge is the straight line. Mark all the edges now. Pause me so you can do that. Okay, now let's check our answers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 edges. Now, this is the tricky part. I'm going to use a star. Maybe you want to do a heart, whatever shape that you can do in order to mark the faces. 1. And I remember now that this is actually 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 faces. Oh my gracious, look at this. These, the cube and the rectangular prism, have the same number of vertices, the same number of edges, and the same number of faces. This one's just elongated. That's interesting. All right, let's move on to this pyramid. A pyramid has 4 vertices. Please find them now. 1, 2, 3, 4. It also has edges. It has 6 edges. Mark an X on each of the edges now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did Mrs. Smith miscount? She's going to check first. Hold on. Pardon me. Well, your teacher has had a moment. She was reading the wrong shape when she did her research. It's actually 5 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I bet you guys knew that. Mrs. Smith should just use her own eyes and not the book. Okay, and we have 8 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I bet you had that too. And how many faces? Let's do the faces. We have 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. It's 5. It's over here. So we have the 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have the 5th. 5 faces. Okay. Whew. All right. So now what we're going to do, and this part I am looking forward to, we're going to be cutting out each one of these shapes. So I'm just going to cut out the entire rectangle for each one. So if I were going to draw a force field, it would look like this. If you would like to cut out the shape itself, you can do that too. You just need each one of these rectangles or each one of these shapes. So you should pause me now so that you could cut those out, and I'll see you back here in a moment. Ta-da! Paper's cut out. Okay, so you'll notice that I separated these two. I actually took a little break in between because I wanted you to be able to see that we don't need these names anymore. We already have the names, and we just need the shapes. So now I'm going to cut these out. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is next to where our book is here, next to each correct shape, I'd like you to glue down these pictures one more time because we are going to create something using them. So glue them down just like this, all the correct shapes next to the correct information, just like this all the way down. All right, pause your video so that you can do that. Okay, for our last trick, we are going to be listing real examples from our world. Now, there are definitely more, oh, I'm sorry, you can't even see that. There it is. There are definitely more examples than the ones I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you these ones, and if you choose to use mine, that is totally fine. You can also make your own choices. Okay, so the first one for a rectangular prism, I chose to do a fish tank. Now I did that because I have a fish tank. It's inside my house. It's just a little one, little 10-gallon fish tank. And I actually just have some feeder fish in there. And what I like to do is I like to save the feeder fish and bring them into my home and give them a long life. I've had these fish at least 7 years. So they live a long time if you take care of them. All right. So for the second one, this is a sphere. I've chosen something I think each of you probably knows what this is now. It is a certain type of ball. It is a game that Steph Curry plays, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James. It is a basketball. Okay. Now for this next one, which is the cone, I have chosen, and I think you might like this one, a cone. And don't worry, it's full of strawberry ice cream. Maybe you have a cone of mint chocolate chip. Okay. Now we have our cylinder, and I've decided to make an Elmer's glue. So there's the top, there's the bottom, and in the middle, this is where it says Elmer's. Well, you see in Mrs. Smith's trick, she's writing sideways. Okay, and then also it has a blue band around the middle. There we go, an Elmer's glue stick. And for a cube, I was thinking about one of these. So this is called a die because it's just one. Dice would be more than one. Okay, and then the last one, this reminded me of the country of Egypt, located in Africa. Egypt is famous for its beautiful and just completely miraculous pyramids. So this reminded me of an Egyptian pyramid. Okay. All right, I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you have filled your brain with everything about solids. We're going to move on to liquids next. Get ready.